Let's now talk about markups in SolidWorks. And using markup, you can mention changes that you need in your part right inside your SolidWorks part. You don't need to just mention these changes in a separate file. Now I'm using this part here, and let's for a moment assume that we want to make a few changes. For example, here we have 3 holes. We want 6 of these holes right here. Also, we want this chamfer to have a smaller length, and we want fillets on all these sharp corners. So these are some of the changes that we want in this part, and we just want to mention these changes somewhere in this file. Now to do that, I'm going to use markup. Now the markup is available on its own separate tab, and right now we don't have that tab yet, but you can activate it. So right click anywhere on this tab and select tabs and activate markup right here. And now we have a new tab called markup. So I'll select this tab, and here we have all the tools, but currently all of these tools are deactivated. They are not active. So as soon as you add a markup, the tool will show up. Also, if you look at this design tree, we don't have any folder called markup, but once you add the first markup, a new folder will be created with all the markups. So let's just go to this markup, and here we are, we've got the folder now. Now inside this folder, all the markup will be saved. Now after selecting this, you need to go to this draw option, and now you can draw with freehand sketch. So here I'm just going to start with this hole, and here I'm going to just make an arrow kind of like this, okay? And let's add a text here. So here I'm just going to select note, and let's type make 6 holes. All right, so there we are, we've got this thing. Now click OK to exit out of this. Okay, so our first markup is added, and you can see that markup right here. That's markup 1. Now if you want to add more details, then once again you can go to draw and just start making changes. But before I do that, let's just change color of this markup. Right now it's this yellowish kind of color. I'm going to change this to red. All right, and now let's make the second markup. So I'm going to just go to this part of the drawing, and here we want to change the chamfer distance here. So I'll just make this arrow and again a note. So here we have this note here. Now again, in this case, as you can see, the size of text is really huge. I'm just going to change it. So I'll just make it a bit smaller, maybe 8 unit. All right, there we are. Or maybe we'll just make it 9 unit. 9 unit is going to just look fine here. So there we are, we've got this. And now I'm just going to click OK. So that's our second markup. Now finally, the third markup. But for adding the markups, I'm not going to orbit my drawing. That's the thing, because markups are added in your current view. So I'm not going to change that. So here, just to add the markup, I'm just going to select another one here. But as you can see right now, when I added this markup, it will add it right inside this markup 1. So basically I've added 2 separate markups, but SolidWorks will think of it as a single markup because we have added it in just one single view. So now if you want to add another markup in a different view, then you need to first exit out of this markup environment. So I'll just exit out of this, and we have got this markup 1 added here. Now let's orbit this drawing. And as you can see, when we orbit the drawing, the markup will disappear. Okay, so that's our first markup. Now we are ready to add the second one. Now in this view, once again, we can add another one. So I'll go to markup, and let's just add it here. So right here, and we just want fillet. So here and maybe here as well. So on this corner also we want a fillet. So I'm going to attach it both with just a single arrow. So here, and then I'm going to add a note. So here, add fillets. There we are, we've got the second markup. Now once again, without changing the view, if you add another markup, SolidWorks will just add it in markup 2. But if you exit out of this environment and then change the view and add a markup, it will add it as a new one. So here in this case, we are okay with these 2 markups only. And now if for some reason you just want to erase any existing markup and maybe create a new one, you can also go to erase and then just click here, and that's going to erase it. But that's not what we want. So I'm going to just exit out of this environment. And here we are, we've got the 2 markups. Now markup 1 and markup 2. Now if you want to go to any of these markups, just select that markup and select orient. Now this will automatically orient you to that direction or to that view. Again, here in markup 2, I'll select orient. It's going to take me to markup 2. Now you can also export these markups in a PDF file. For example, I'll go to this markup 1 and I'm going to select Orient. Now we can export this. So again, right click and select export markup. Now you can specify a location. So let's just specify desktop as the location, and I'm going to call it sample markup, and okay. And let's see now. So here we are, here we have sample markup. So double click and that's our markup exported here in a PDF document. So you can now send this PDF document if you're not comfortable sending your actual SolidWorks file. And that's how you can export the markups. But as you can see, you need to export several markups. So if you have created all of these markups in different views, then you may need to export several different PDFs if you want to just do that. Or if you just send this SolidWorks part file, well, anyone can just change to that markup view and see what's inside these markups. Now, if you want to hide these markups, you can do so very easily as well. So just go to the markup and select hide, and now the markups won't show up, kind of like this. So here we are, we don't have the markup even when you orbit your drawing. If, however, you just make it visible, markups will show up when you orbit your drawing, kind of like this. So that's a thing which you may want to keep on or off depending upon your preferences. And that's how you can add markups in SolidWorks file.